All right, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another Wicker Biscuit.
Welcome, welcome.
All right, let's start this off. Could I have some introductions? Let me know who's on.
Ryan.
Who's that giggle puss over there?
Amanda.
Oh, okay. What's going on? Amanda? I don't know. Oh, okay. So we got Amanda and Ryan.
And this is Carl.
Hey, Carl.
And Courtney.
Hey, Courtney. All right, and then I'm your host, Gary. How is everyone?
The host with the most.
Well, thank you. How's everybody doing?
Great. Really good.
Yeah?
I just have like internal jokes.
You just got the giggles? Oh,
The best part is like I had a little echo and then your giggling was throwing me off.
That's okay. That's okay. But
We welcome joy in all its forms.
Courtney, I know you got some bubs in you today.
I sure do. I've got I'm a double-fisted something.
Two-fisted slopper is what it's called
Is
at Miller Park.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Formerly Miller Park.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always Miller Park in our minds. But
Yes,
yes,
I agree.
And that was from the county stadium days. So
Yeah, yeah.
that graphic. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
No. Yeah.
So anyway, two-fist in it.
Yeah.
So what kind of bubs do you have?
It's blue raspberry milk tea with rainbow jellies.
Yeah, rainbow jellies.
Ooh.
And I slurped up a big wad in my mouth. It was just this big white hard chunk. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And they thought I
I
Lost
thought it
a
was a
tooth.
tooth. I thought it was a tooth at first.
yeah, but it wasn't. We're good.
Well,
Oh, shout out to the wrestling podcasts that are going to be coming out soon. Just a tooth falls out in the ring. You know, that's
I was
normal.
going to say this is a bakery, not a dentist office.
Right, right.
It is. It is a bakery. Thank you.
Well, depending
I-
on how soft the muffins are and the biscuits, you might, break a tooth.
Yeah.
That's true. Some get you pretty
Mm.
crusty there.
What else were you saying?
So I learned a large amount of information today about. I found out one of my coworkers, his wife encapsulates placentas in her basement.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, sure.
That's a big thing.
I've heard of that.
But
Mhm.
I have so many questions. How does one start collecting placentas?
Well,
Like,
I think it's usually like a mom will contact that person for that
how
service.
do you throw your name out there?
Oh, there's
you're
lots
like
of-
the Jehovah Witness knocking on the doors
No.
of the labor and delivery unit. Like, have I talked to you about
placental encapsulation.
Maybe Craigslist. I don't know.
maybe?
No,
And I
there's-
also found, because I was asking that, I asked Google that. I'm like, how do you get yourself a placenta? and it
You
says-
know how to get a placenta.
Well,
I'm sure there's
well,
like a lot of midwives and all kinds of
Oh,
connections.
right. I'm
100%.
sure if
a
yeah.
black market for
There's-
placentas. It's $50,000.
When I was an intern,
Is
I
it-
was pregnant, and one of the other interns was talking about her birth stories, and she did save the placenta of one of them because she was going to bury it by a tree or plant a tree. So I don't know. Something. I was very much like, I will go to the hospital and they will give me all of the drugs that is allowed. I'm not interested in home anything, and I don't want to keep any souvenirs other than my kid. And she took it out of her freezer and forgot about it.
Because where
And
else
then, like,
do you put
blood-
your
I
placenta?
forgot about
She
this
said because she
story.
set it on
Yes.
top.
Yeah,
of
she
the
set it on top of the freezer and forgot. And then her husband went because she was just pulling stuff out for,
Like-
for dinner.
You never pulled out some meat that you were
It'd
going
be
to
like,
thaw, but you
oh,
forgot
that's right.
it
I have
somewhere
my
else.
son's foreskin on top of the.
Well,
really
what
funny is-
happened is her husband came and there was blood dripping down the freezer, and she's like, "Oh shoot, that was my placenta." And I'm like,
Darn.
"Oh,
Don't you hate when that gets away from you?
yeah."
Mm-hmm.
The best
Well-
part is when you started talking about placentas, that was the first story I thought of. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell that story about the person who left it on the freezer. And it was that story.
Yeah.
I suppose there's rituals where
That's
people
Yeah.
eat it.
Oh, yeah, they
Oh,
eat it for
100%.
nutrients.
It's supposed to help with postpartum depression and all kinds of things.
Dogs
Because I
eat
read
it.
that article too.
Yeah. No,
Not
it's
that we're
And,
dogs.
and burying it probably is like some spiritual.
yeah. Well, it's like supposed to.
So,
But
be really-
is she just storing them in her basement for her clients, or like is
No,
she
like,
collecting them
she
for
makes-
herself?
She's making them into little
No,
capsules
she
to
makes
eat.
the capsules to give to the mom.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is legit. She's
Yeah,
not
it's a
like-
it's
it
a
just
legit
seems
thing.
Like there should be some sort of.
I think because like it's very popular with people who use like doulas.
Yeah, and I believe she may be a doula, so that makes more sense.
Yeah, because that's like another service.
But can you imagine, like, if something happened at her house and like the police had to get involved and they go downstairs and there's like pieces and a dehydrator and it's just alarming. And
You're like,
I
wait,
wonder how
okay,
long
what
it
are we looking
takes.
at here?
Nipple belt.
Yes. Yes.
And you have to steam it first. I looked at the process. You
have
steam
to
it.
Yeah.
Man, you went deep.
Well, I suppose.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, how long does it take? Like, is it
They
something
say-
that you have to do, like, start to finish?
It
Like,
says that if
no
you want to
breaks?
be a good manufacturer,
well,
you
right.
should have it back to your client within 24 hours.
Wow, that's a quick turnaround
Yeah.
time. Granted, I suppose, like, if you're doing it to help prevent with, like, postpartum and stuff, you want to...
You don't want to
There's
leave it on top of your freezer.
Yeah,
for
you
a few
gotta-
hours.
We should have her on the podcast. There's so many questions. But
I'm all for
can
having
you
her.
imagine just having a food dehydrator downstairs with somebody else's body part in it?
Oh, I want to go, like, see her lab.
I have lots of questions.
Yeah.
What do you call, like, the place where she does it? Is
Her
it a lab?
basement?
Is it But, like, it's not a bakery.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like,
The placenta plant.
right, like, is it her... Yeah, I don't know.
The placenta parlor.
Right? There's just a whole wealth of questions. But how do you get a black market placenta? I mean, there's so many.
just-
Well, it seems odd
You
to
sneak
me
into the...
that there's a black market
I
when
don't
your
know.
neighbor's just doing it in their basement.
It's true.
Well, maybe it's like...
Does she have a supplier?
Right. Well, like, maybe it's kind of like how you can
has
donate
to.
your breast milk. Or sell breast milk. Breast milk's
But
like hot,
I guess
hot
there-
business.
There's really not a whole lot of like regulations about it. Apparently,
No.
if somebody's doing it in their basement, but there is one golden rule: is that you can't give somebody else a different person's placenta because like it's cannibalism, which I get,
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
there's probably
What if you mixed it up? I don't know. Like, people make breast milk jewelry.
and one placenta will give you 107 capsules. And they had a little extra,
See,
few
I have-
grams left over, and they made a tincture out of it.
Oh.
What's that?
I never talked
That's-
about any of this in any pre-law class, so I don't know.
Like, isn't like a tincture like liquid?
I think it's
something?
like a liquid that like you put under your tongue, but like
Yeah.
placenta gravy, like right under your.
But like, I would. So like,
Placenta gravy.
I
don't
don't
know
want,
if
I
I'm
don't
in,
want
like, the-
McCormick's tonight. I want a placenta gravy.
Courtney, let's go on vacation. We'll get some placenta gravy at Pussy Lake.
but like, I have questions because like my placenta, when I was pregnant, they had said that my placenta was aging prematurely. So like, it was like rapidly aging, which
Huh.
when I came out of anesthesia, I did ask the nurse what my placenta looked like, and she was very confused. And I'm like, well, they said it was aging quickly. Like, what did it look like? And she's like, I don't know.
Like the placenta of
So-
a 90-year-old
Had
woman.
missing
Being in the
teeth
dairy
and
state,
gray
does
hair.
like an aged placenta, is
I
that
don't-
is that a thing?
I didn't get a lot of answers from my doctor who told me that I had an elderly placenta. He just asked if I smoked because that can often cause it, and
Yeah.
I was like, no.
all the more reason not to smoke. You'd hate to have somebody judge your placenta years later.
Well, I did have to like go in for more appointments to check like growth to make sure that he was still growing appropriately,
He
and he
being your
was.
kid.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sorry.
So
No,
you
I
were
just-
judged on your placenta before you even had your son?
Yeah, I was still in the...
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how he knew that, but he said that my placenta was aging rapidly
You know, when it was still doing its job before it became
before it became my
Yeah.
tinctures.
art.
So you'd probably only get like 15 grand on the black market.
Right. Yeah, like I
And they said in the next 5 years, that amount will likely triple. Wow. $150,000.
who's buying these? Lisa's buying them.
What are you going to do with it?
I can't tell you.
Will it involve somebody's basement?
Perhaps.
Stop giving me the secrets, Courtney.
Okay.
Well, we should keep this hush hush.
Okay,
so if
sorry.
we get involved
Okay,
in the
so everybody,
marketplace-
shh. We're not going to talk about it. Anything else?
I don't want to end up on tonight's topic.
No, yeah, no kidding. Don't want to end up on tonight's topic.
Nice segue.
So let's segue right into our topic. Tonight, we bring to you our first listener submitted topic. We had our listener Loretta G, who wrote in, and she reached out not too long ago requesting that we have a topic of funny police logs or police blotters in the proper biscuit fashion. We got our buns going and we put it together. So here you go, Loretta. We bring you the police blotter episode. Anyway, first let's go into what the hell is a police blotter? How did it get that name? So, Courtney was kind enough to look this up. So, Courtney, can you fill us in?
Apparently the term blotter has been used since 16th century to refer to some form of record keeping. Oh, look, he made it bigger for me. The term blotter has been used since the 16th century to refer to some form of record-keeping notebook. Large ledgers used to note down entries of daily events in businesses and police stations were often termed desk blotters, perhaps because when opened, they resembled the large blotters used to routinely dry ink from the quill pens used in those days. Many of us remember, I'm sure all of us do, using small blotters to prevent smudging of wet ink from fountain pens. Yeah.
When was this printed? That we're supposed to know that.
Who knows? But the blot thickens.
The plot thickens.
You know, it says no one knows the exact etymology. They could look it up.
Right.
OED,
Well,
baby.
I did, and that's what it gave me.
Really?
Yeah.
The Oxford English Dictionary gave you that?
Whatever.
That's where I always look for that kind of crud because that's what I had a professor who made us do that.
Oh.
Like,
I bet they remembered the small ink blots.
she probably did. She was a really smart lady.
Quill pen.
I can't stop thinking of like the ledgers from like Scrooge's office.
Right.
Christmas
yes,
Carol.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So maybe that's why we're supposed to remember.
Maybe.
We should get quill pens
We
just
should.
for fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's kick off this dirty mother. And Amanda, could you please read the first
Oh,
police
sure.
blotter for us?
Saturday, January 20th, 2:30 a.m.
This comes from my hometown,
Ooh,
Chautauqua,
really?
Wisconsin.
You know what? I
then
apologize
just
for cutting
kidding.
you off.
Courtney
but
will do it.
Courtney reminded me that before we started, we wanted to tell the audience that, these are funny because it's just a comical situation, but we're not trying to make fun of the police. And actually, we really respect all the work of our public servants out there. And we really applaud people that dedicate themselves to public service. So thank you.
We probably should say something too, probably the individuals involved in these things.
Yeah,
It's a moment in life.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And no matter what happened, we'll just say they're fine. They're fine.
Right. Yeah. But Amanda, I'm sorry. Can you start us off again?
Oh, sure. Saturday, January 20th, 2:30 a.m. A caller reported an individual with a white Chicago Bears cap was seen running up and down the street yelling, "The Packers still suck!" in the parking lot of Gilligan's in Chautauqua. A deputy located the individual, and the suspect insisted that the officer call him the Turtle Whisperer. Officers apprehended the perpetrator and brought him back to his residence in the Chautauqua, where his wife, a Packers fan, said she would handle the situation. His wife explained this is what happens when he drinks Tito's.
Wow.
We should go to this location.
Do you-
We got the address.
Do you know?
and
Do you know who else drinks Tito's?
Who?
My stepmom.
I was
And
gonna say-
she does the same thing?
No.
Okay, good.
I was going to say the Turtle Whisperer has a little bit of class too. So
I love the idea
Definitely.
of just him being like, "Come on closer. I'm the Turtle Whisperer."
Maybe it's a grown-up version of the I like turtles kid.
Ooh, maybe.
Shoot.
I do like the idea that this man is like yelling at the top of his lungs and then whispers,
Yeah.
"I'm the Turtle Whisperer."
And this was just a month ago.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Hey, Ryan, do you want to give us another one?
I sure do. The Flathead County Sheriff and Kalispell.
That's in Montana.
Oh.
Yeah.
Our next one comes from Flathead County. On September 9th, 2021 at 2:30 p.m., a transient man said he had a dead badger in a sled and that he was going to be keeping it because it had multiple uses. He said he would be moving along shortly and taking the badger with him.
I can't think of one use.
I'm just trying to figure out, did he call the police just to tell them this? And then just, I'll be moving
The
along.
only use I can think of would be like taking the hide and
Maybe he's making mittens.
and
a hat?
badger mittens. Ooh.
And like, was
I mean, I don't know how much you
this
could.
sheriff or police officer just walking their beat and
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably.
came across that?
Like,
That's my
alert,
guess.
There's a dead badger in that sled.
You know, I will tell you.
We've got a 10, 2, 3, D6. Oh, that must mean there's a dead badger in this sled.
Yeah, I can
He better be putting it
this
to-
badger's like, what am I looking at?
He better be putting it to good use and not just wasting it.
Oh,
Yeah.
those frivolous badger wasters. I hate those guys.
I hope he's collecting it in his basement.
Yeah. All right. Next one, if Carl would be so kind. So is this Ashland, Wisconsin?
I don't know that, Nance. I don't think
No.
so.
Okay. Well, either way.
Okay, so this police blotter is a dog attack. Lower Duck Pond, Lithia Park, Ashland. Police responded to a report of 2 dogs running loose and attacking ducks at about 11:20 a.m. on a Sunday. The officer cited a resident for the loose dogs. The duck refused medical treatment and left the area, according to police records.
Move along.
Like, sir, do you need help?
Now, it's interesting.
Consent.
It's interesting to me that there was multiple ducks being attacked, but only one duck was the. They're like, well, that's
Maybe
the
that
one.
was the collective.
That was
like
Mallard,
he
and
answered
they're
for
like-
all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The duck-
Mallard, are you hurt? No, I'm fine.
The duck probably just wanted to get the hell out of there before he met the badger man.
Yeah, that's true.
The
There's
next thing you know,
multiple uses
ducks
for
have
him,
multiple
too.
uses.
Yeah.
Someone shows up with a sled. I'm out of here.
Well, you've heard about their penis, right?
Right. The duck had a hot date, and he's like,
I gotta
Yeah.
I got-
corkscrew this
man.
somewhere else.
Man, this tail's got more twists and turns than a duck's vagina.
exactly. All right. And then I'll set Cord up for the next one.
Because we're playing volleyball.
Oh. Well, it was 2:58 p.m. The Learning Center on Hanson Street reports a man across the way stands at his window for hours watching the center, making parents nervous. Police ID the suspect as a cardboard cutout of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I guess that could make you nervous.
Oh, it
He's
would-
going to terminate
It
me.
would make me nervous.
I'm very curious about the next one that was cut off, though, at 3:18 p.m. A kitten on Shaw Drive. Something
Apparently has
rectum.
rectum. Damn near killed him.
What version of Arnold Schwarzenegger? Are we talking like
That's a good question.
Terminator?
I don't think it matters.
I want to pretend it was from.
Cop.
I want to pretend it was from the movie Junior.
He's just pregnant. It's twins, but the Danny DeVito cutout is missing.
Well, we used to have a Bob Ross cutout, courtesy of
Yeah.
Court,
True.
and that used to be in my background when I started working from home, and it would freak people out. They're like,
There's a man.
is that a man behind you? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's Bob.
I took a series of selfies with that cutout where it's like I'm standing next to him and I'm smiling, and then I realize his paintbrush is on my shirt, and I look all like, oh, he's painting on me.
Oh, I loved that cutout. Unfortunately, it got a little banged up.
Oh,
So,
that's all right.
We still have it somewhere. I
No, we
think.
don't.
Okay, we don't.
That's
because
right.
teen boys
Oh.
got feisty.
I like that just cause Teen Boys.
That's all
Mhm.
right though.
I have a cardboard cutout of Elvira that I
true.
bought for Carl for
Papa
Halloween.
Mau Mau?
Mhm.
Oh.
All right. And I'm up next. So let's see what goodies I've got. All right.
We can't.
This
not
happened
look.
on the 100 block of West University Drive. Is that Eckerd's?
Mhm.
Oh.
Eckerd's. Employees of Eckerd's reported about 12:25 a.m. Tuesday that 2 men came into the store, loaded birthday bags with "Have a Nice Day" yellow faces on them with 52 tubes of vaginal antifungal cream and left without paying. The cream was valued at $894.98.
Wow.
They maybe they used that on the black market for the placenta
For the
people.
Yeah, the
Yes.
placenta
The
people.
large amount, yeah.
Because you don't want any cheese on the taco if you're going to be donating your placenta.
No, you don't.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't think you want cheese on the taco anytime.
No, our producer is officially declaring. She looked it up. No, you don't.
I mean,
Did they bring the birthday bags?
Thanks, producer.
Yeah. They loaded I think.
Because they didn't seem concerned about the cost of the birthday
No.
bags.
I
It
think
is
they brought
taking
them in
me-
themselves.
Everything I can do to not get out a calculator.
Yeah, I was thrown off by the birthday bags. They must have stolen the birthday bags too, but they just didn't even bother.
Maybe not. Maybe they brought in their own.
Maybe they brought in
they
their
were
own.
prepared.
What if the cream was $894.98 for like per tube?
Oh, that's some fancy cream.
Yeah.
That cream gets expensive.
Yeah.
It was $17.21 per tube.
Oh my
I would think
gosh.
that's expensive.
Well, and like.
That's
is
why
this
they
some sort of
stole it.
like, is this some sort of like Robin Hood thing? Like
They're
I'm
bringing
giving-
it to all of
I'm
the
giving it to-
transient
There's
women.
all these cheesy taco ladies that
That
just
have
needed it.
badgers in their sleds. We need to help them out.
I love the idea of just modern day vaginal cream Robin Hoods.
I'm like coming to the
awesome.
rescue, and here's your antifungal cream.
I hope
for
they
your
were wearing
vagina.
the hat with the feather then.
Oh,
The,
yeah.
the jaunty little feather.
Oh boy.
What if I said that's how I wanted to spend my 40th birthday?
I'm in.
I would come with you.
I'm seriously just going to be on your porch with a bag with a smiley face that says, "Have a nice day." You know what's in the bag.
809.
Now I tell you guys, this next one that I got is very appropriate for the person who's going to read it. So Amanda, will you please dazzle us with this next one?
Ooh, okay. A man reported that a squirrel was running in circles on Davis Drive and was not sure if it was sick or had been hit by a car. An officer responded, and as he drove on the street, he ran over the squirrel. Oh, that poor squirrel.
And then Amanda taxidermied it.
That's such a tragic end.
See,
We should let the listeners know that Amanda loves whimsical taxidermy.
Yes.
I don't actually have any whimsical taxidermy. I just get like the fake animals
Right,
from
We've,
like,
and we've supported the behavior.
and they're
We're
so
guilty.
fun. We'll take pictures.
Oh my
we have
God.
Lord Hootington,
The-
who's an owl.
The amazing gifts that Ryan LeMay has gifted because
try.
of this. Oh,
I
just
try.
gems, all of them. But yeah,
The hard part is at Christmas time, there's a lot of animal things out, but they're already
decorated.
but they're decorated for Christmas. And it's like, well, I don't want to get her ones that are just for Christmas.
Right.
This week, my son and I went to a consignment shop, and there was a ceramic squirrel that had overalls on it, and the label said farmer squirrel. And I tried to do what our child does, and I'm like, oh my God, Dad would love this squirrel. And he's like, no, Mom. You love that squirrel. And I'm
It
like,
has multiple uses.
right.
Put it in the
And
sled.
I'm like, but I really think he would enjoy it. And he's just like, no, you enjoy it. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And I'm going to get it for me. And I got that farmer squirrel.
Good.
Yep,
Yay.
it's on the
And
mantle over the
the
fireplace.
tag fell off. So the price tag fell off. And the lady had to call the woman who like had that consignment area to see like that it was okay that we bought it because they can't sell it without a tag.
How much did it cost?
It was $6.
Oh, that's
Like I
good.
remembered
Yeah.
looking at it because I'm
That's
like,
pretty nice.
I know I looked at the tag because it was called Farmer Squirrel, and that like just sealed the deal. And
Yeah.
my son was so embarrassed. He's like, "Oh my God, Mom! Like you don't need the squirrel." And the lady's like, "Yes, she does. She needs the squirrel." And I'm like,
Ooh,
"She
I
knows."
like this
She
lady.
understood.
I like
She
this
did.
lady.
And then yeah, he's like, "Oh my God, I can't even believe we're doing this." And I'm like, "We're getting that squirrel."
It is so funny to me the way teens are so embarrassed by fun, silly things, but not embarrassed by like wearing dirty underwear every day.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like that's the stuff you should be
I think on
embarrassed
some
about.
levels too, it's like it's almost like they love it, but they just don't want to show
Well,
it, so
he-
they're pretending they're embarrassed.
He did like when we got home and put it up there. He's like, "Oh, you're right. You did need that farmer squirrel." And like,
Well, that's
I
good.
What
know.
a
That's
great
good.
response! I applaud that.
Now I got to think this officer gets radioed in their car,
Yep.
and they're like, "I'm just gonna find the squirrel and run it over." Like, is that like the solution?
That's not what he meant to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
what was the officer supposed to do?
Right.
Like honestly, like if the squirrel's sick, what's he gonna do?
I'm
I mean,
just
I
gonna
guess I'll
say-
go oversee it. if
I'm
I
just
run
going
it
to say
over.
that there was some problems with the squirrel, and he put it out of its misery
Yeah.
because that's going to make me feel better at the end of the day. So.
This very same thing actually happened when I worked dispatch, and it was actually a coyote. Somebody called in saying that there was potentially like a injured or crazy coyote out there, and it was just by itself. So like, yeah, it really doesn't add up. So the officer went out, and he accidentally ran it over.
Oh no!
I had to put that in the police report.
Yeah. So maybe it was an accident.
Or my guess
I
is
think
it
it
was
is.
an
I think
accident.
it's supposed to be.
But I'm going to say hopefully it was a blessing in disguise. But
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
If I was a blessing, I'd run around naked.
Bless
Take
you.
your clothes off, you blessing.
That's from Golden Girls.
Well, just so our listeners know, Mr. Ryan is a blessing.
Giving the leftover meatloaf a thrill.
All right. And then, Ryan, you would be up next. Can I get the whole thing in one screen?
Yeah.
It looks like that's it. Okay.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Man who lives in Fairfield filed a complaint with the police on Sunday about someone ringing his doorbell and leaving a photocopy of buttocks on the front stoop. The complainant, Edgar Butts, told police the incident has happened several times in the past 2 weeks. More like the past 2 cheeks.
Butt puns.
I can't
love
say
it.
that I might not be guilty of this as a teenager. I might be the person that's.
You sent
Yeah.
photocopies of your butt to people?
Well, you don't send them. You just drop them off on their porch.
Because their
Wait,
last
where
name
did you get your photocopy machine
I
that
don't
you're
know.
like sticking your butt on it?
Speaking of
Quick Trip.
funny names like Edgar
They
Butts.
totally used to have a photocopy.
Right, but you can't like
They
put your
still do.
bottom on it.
If you're adventurous enough.
I'm not.
Courtney wouldn't, but Court
would.
might.
Court definitely would.
I'm trying to think where in my high school, like, there was copiers everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
There's copiers at our school too, and our teacher called one a puta one time. The Spanish teacher.
It was not behaving, so he kicked it, and he was shouting
Puta.
vulgarities in Spanish, and it was great.
Edgar Butts makes me think of, when we were growing up around our town, there was quite the legend of there used to be a man named Gaylord Fagerland, and everyone thought it was made up, right? But I happen to have a phone book from the 60s, and it turns
Ooh.
out that was a real person.
No,
Oh.
and it did get out his phone number, and people would prank phone call him, and it wasn't that
Aw,
nice.
Poor
but-
Gaylord.
Well, he was dead.
Oh.
The story I heard was someone called, they were like, oh yes, that was my husband. He passed away a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
She didn't know they were prank calling. They were just like, is Gaylord Fagerland there?
I sent my graduation party invitation to
Oh, jeez.
which is my brother. There was him and then like an old elderly man by
he
the
show
same
up?
name. No, I think he was dead.
Oh,
And I,
think
sent my
he had
invitation
just
to
died,
yeah.
too.
So
no, that's tough.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, why didn't you get you? Oh, I sent it to the wrong.
Someone.
So his wife was like, "Oh, this what's oh God, I'm fucking up the joke." A child that she never knew about that he.
So the wife's like, who's Amanda? Is this your child with some other woman?
Exactly.
Yeah, graduating college.
Anyway.
When
We sound
Gary and I
successful.
graduated, we both put off our thank you cards for a really long time.
True.
So when we were getting together to do them all, Gary was doing one, but he was kind of distracted because we were watching TV, and he screwed it up. So he mailed it to me, and it said, "Dear Ryan, thank you, me and my graduation, Gary." He added the Dear Ryan when he sent it to me. Before that, it just said, "Thank you, me and my graduation." And we laughed so hard because he's like, "Look what I just wrote."
Oh boy.
What about you and your graduation?
We didn't know, and the world will never know. So next up, we're gonna have Carl, and whenever you're ready, Carl, go ahead.
So this was at 5:14 p.m. A suspicious male taking photos in the bathroom was just taking pictures of the tile to capture the face of God.
Yeah, that leaves tons of questions.
God is everywhere.
You have to get Publix white bread.
Yeah.
And when you make your grilled cheese,
Oh,
so you
yeah.
can see Jesus in the grilled cheese.
Sure.
Where else have we?
What was it called though? Grilled cheeses?
Grilled cheeses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put your faith in grilled cheeses, please.
So that was actually Mary.
That was Mary.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Mary.
Grilled
That's
cheese.
She
right.
likes to show up.
Jesus was on our door of our old bathroom.
Yes.
It was very,
Oh.
yeah.
Huh.
But I didn't take pictures for hours.
Do you need to go back to that house?
I bet that door probably isn't
But that
even there
door's probably
anymore. I
gone.
feel like he probably fixed everything that we put off
Well,
fixing for 13 years.
Didn't he know that the power of Christ?
Compel us to come back.
Well,
I
I
just
mean, that's how you
Think
stay
about
regular.
like the variety of bathrooms you've been in. And I'm pretty sure God's forsaken some of those bathrooms.
Oh yeah,
Right? I mean,
absolutely.
Well, they didn't have the right door.
or a door.
Ooh, a Valentine's Day one coming up.
Yeah,
here.
so we're gonna have Court take the next one.
All
Oh,
right.
it's got to be edgy because I said Court.
Yeah.
No, it can be Court or Courtney. It's up to you.
So 9:36 a.m. I'm going to just read the whole thing. Suspicious person circumstance. A woman from Northfield turned over to the police department some marijuana that was found in the parking lot. If you lost a bag of marijuana, please come to the Northfield Police Department and claim the bag.
So my guess is this was probably in a spot that didn't have legalized marijuana, but because that's also hilarious. It's like, come and
Right.
get it, boys, and then, aha, we got you.
Isn't that entrapment?
Yeah, Ryan,
Exactly.
Well,
Ryan and I are big
remember-
fans of entrapment.
Watching a thing where
The movie Entrapment is okay.
where there was like this, they like took a hotel and like a conference room, and they gave out like these fake, like, you've won this amount of money or this prize, come to such and such location to pick up your whatever. And it was just the wanted list, and everybody that came in got like arrested right away.
Ooh, but is that entrapment?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
No, because I think those people were already wanted for other crimes.
Oh, sure.
Maybe that's
So-
too stupid to be free.
I mean, they did get a
That's a good
surprise.
Because
Surprise!
entrapment would be more like if they tricked them into committing a crime.
Yeah,
so
right,
they could
right.
arrest
The,
them.
crime's
If
the crime is already committed.
they're already
Yeah.
wanted, it's
Yeah.
then I'm okay with it.
If we have any law experts,
Just let
send
us know.
Let us know.
some information.
All right. Let me bring you another one here. We got a woman in the 100 block of Hanover Street told police January 1st she received a Christmas card warning her to keep her legs closed.
What are they supposed to do about that?
I don't know.
Was this like the original Aunt Karen? Like,
Yes.
Maybe it was
Girl.
Sweet Melissa.
you better,
Sweet, sweet Melissa.
you better
Uh-huh.
keep that closed.
Well, you know,
She can't help it.
she was trying to spread holiday cheer. And
She got that card.
somebody's like, hey,
I mean, did she? She didn't have to listen. There was nothing that compelled her to follow the directions.
no, it's still fun.
Is that like advertising for the police? Like, hey, y'all, I'm warned against this.
I was told to keep my legs closed. Come on over.
Someone needs to find Jesus in that bathroom.
Or the toaster.
All right.
Ooh,
Amanda.
August 12th.
Yes.
Animal complaint. A caller on West Point Avenue reported that a belligerent squirrel was preventing him from using his boat dock. The caller said he knew nothing could be done about it, but he wanted officers to know what kind of squirrels are running about in the community, according to the police report.
We need to
Something must be done.
We need to get to the community center and get all the squirrels together.
I love the idea of a person having enough common sense to be like, okay, the cops can't do anything about it, but god damn it, I have to let them know what
Something
kind of fucking
has to
squirrels we
happen.
have in this goddamn community.
That's how I felt with the squirrels on campus.
Oh my gosh, they were
so
aggressive.
scary.
They were
I was afraid of
aggressive.
squirrels for a long time because they would like bark at me when I was just walking by.
Bark?
minding- yeah.
Never had a
Those were
squirrel bark?
chihuahuas.
No, squirrels can bark.
Yeah, I was
Really?
always convinced one would like jump out and
Oh,
land on my
yeah.
head.
You
I
never
was so
had
scared.
You never had a dog growing up, and your mom always was kind to the squirrels, so you probably didn't have squirrels barking at you. But if you own a
Go on
dog,
campus.
if you own a dog, you know. 'Cause-
I do.
well, now, but you live out in the country. I'm saying
You don't have squirrels.
Squirrels live in the country.
We're talking city squirrels.
Okay.
City
It's the
squirrels are a
city
different
squirrels.
it's the
type.
city squirrels with the attitude, but they'll climb up the tree and then they'll just bark at the dog like "fuck you."
They do.
The ones on campus though, there were two like fighting over something, and I was walking past, and I swear like one of them like they were like bickering, and then one of them like turned to me and was like, "You want some too?" Like that was the weirdest. Like, oh my god.
There are an exceptional amount of squirrels in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Oh, 100%.
Seriously though, where did that squirrel get that little switch knife?
I don't know. That scared me. That
Right?
scared me so much.
Christ, little
It-
switchblade.
I think a squirrel, like if you're gonna be wild squirrels, like go find a community with an HOA. Like
Yeah.
you have free reign because no one can do anything about you.
That's true.
I mean,
I got
Yeah.
another tooth.
Oh, geez.
Good times.
Another tooth popped out of Quartz bubble tea.
Oh, and then she's chewing on
I
it.
sure did.
Yeah.
gotta get back in there.
Oh boy. Any more on squirrels?
I just love
Squirrels
that.
be crazy.
I feel like this is like something like if a dog were to make a report.
Oh yeah, totally.
Do you think if Mrs. Garrett was a squirrel and the squirrels were fighting, she'd be like, "Squirrels, squirrels!"
Oh yes. Oh, I would love to hear that. Sir Pynington. Oh.
Ooh.
Ryan's gonna bring us the next joyous.
6:12 p.m. The 4700 block of Portside Drive
In Vermilion.
in Vermilion. That's my sound effect. Courtney, stop.
What? I just wanted to take it out of the drawer.
Oh, 6:12 p.m. 4700 block of Portside Drive in Vermilion. Man put icy hot on wife's vibrator. Divorce pending. That sounds like something I just made up.
Right?
Yeah.
I love how that seems like Iron Range there. Like the next listing, Joppa Road. That seems very...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was this woman then that had to get the 50-some things of
Antifungal.
crotch cream. Yeah.
Oh, and maybe that's why we got a card saying keep your legs closed.
All the same person. Wrong idea.
Yeah, I guess if they would just
Maybe that
follow
was
the
a
advice of
warning.
the-
Maybe someone knew that the guy was going to put that on her vibrator.
And the squirrels were trying to tell everybody.
Yeah, and it was actually very kind.
But they couldn't because the one that was the most vocal about it got hit by the cop.
And the badger already got it.
Full circle, everyone.
Oh, God, they're
It's
all tied
tough.
together.
It's tough. That guy probably thought, oh, she uses that thing all the time. She must be in some pain.
Yeah, because she told him, "Oh, this is my massager." So he was like, "Oh, she must have a cramp. I'll put some icy hot on it to help relax it away."
Her doctor required her to get one. Or recommended it, not required. Her doctor recommended
Carl's
it.
already giggling at the next one.
I'm glad I read it through.
So why don't we, whenever you're ready, why don't you read that one off to us?
Going a little further north. 10:10 p.m. Suspicious people were reportedly doing something with flashlights by the side of North 5th Street in Custer. A deputy checked and found the people were not suspicious, but merely Canadian.
Oh boy.
Well, what were they doing with the flashlight?
Do you think the kid across the street is Canadian? Every once in a while,
Maybe.
you just see like a green light in our living room, and it's like the little kid across the street is just shining it across the street, thinking it's funny, and it's like, stop. That's illegal.
My thing is, so officer arrives, talks to said people, says, "Why are you shining flashlights?" And their reason is, "Well, we're Canadian."
Yeah.
Well, I think
mean, it's
they
good
were
enough reason
concerned
for
that
me.
they were being suspicious, but they weren't really suspicious. They were just Canadian.
Well, they were probably really polite too.
Yeah.
So the officer right away is like, "Well, you guys."
Oh, you Canadians.
I was just checking my
were-
batteries, eh?
I love your bacon.
Maybe they were like trying to light the path for the squirrels.
That too.
That's how polite they are. God, it would be nice to be from a country where people just like stereotype us as being polite.
Right.
Or
And,
suspicious.
and having health care.
Dang it.
Oh, good times.
That's why they're suspicious.
yeah,
right?
no
Yeah.
kidding.
It's like, what? Why
You're
are you
healthy? Happy?
weird?
Weird.
Obviously, you're up to something. It's a
All
long
right.
game.
Oh, I saw my name for a second.
Well, this one actually is going to be for you. So whenever you're ready,
Okay.
please fill us in.
It was October 31st at 2:24 p.m. A woman along the 11500 block of 37th Avenue reported a dispute with her neighbor boyfriend, who was refusing to bring her casserole.
My question is, like, she wanted to eat a casserole and he wouldn't bring her one, or he borrowed her casserole to make one and then wouldn't give it back?
I was thinking maybe she's down at the friend's house or
Yeah.
like the neighbor's house, and she was expecting him to bring it over.
Maybe they had joint custody of the casserole, and
It was her weekend.
yeah,
It was her weekend with the
exactly.
casserole, and
You
he
bring
just-
that
Or-
casserole right over here.
She was out of her mind, and she was like, "I really want casserole, and that's
Yeah.
the only thing I want right now."
Right?
Maybe she was pregnant and
Yeah.
the casserole's good for the placenta.
Yes. I wonder if you could pickle a placenta.
Maybe it's placenta casserole. I was like, I need those nutrients now.
No, because placenta would definitely
Well,
be a
that's-
hot dish, not a casserole.
Excuse me, I'm a snob.
It would
I
be
only can
expensive.
have the aged placenta.
God, I'm pretty sure that's not how. I think placenta's like cheese.
It's a fine wine. Just think of it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't know.
That would be Amanda's sound effect. Hers is bleh.
like
Do it a couple times.
we don't know if this casserole is hers or if bring her cat. Like
Yeah.
we don't know that.
Oh yeah. No, I
questions.
know.
What if she made the casserole and she wanted it and he was supposed to bring it over and now she's like, what the heck, man?
I'm trying to have a party and
I
the
didn't make
casserole's
this
at the
for
house.
you.
Yeah.
I my guess is that's what it is, but I can't help it. The thought of her like just random like, man, I could really go for some casserole. Hey, bring me some casserole. And he's like, where the fuck do I go and get casserole?
I'm calling the cops, you son of a bitch.
Exactly. I just love that.
That, you know, it's funny because some like people in your life are less, we'll say, classy. And like I can think of people who would have
Why
this.
do you look at me?
I wasn't looking at you.
He was actually looking at me.
No, I was actually thinking of no one in this room, but I have some people in my life that I could see having this kind of dispute and calling the cops over
sure.
it.
Oh my gosh, I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many people like I have met with where it's like they came in because somebody like they had some domestic whatever and they would be so pissed that, well, we just wanted them to come over to like stop the stuff. And it's like, but if you call the cops, you can't be mad that the cops are involved.
Right,
Like,
right.
you asked them to come over and now they have to arrest somebody
Yeah.
because both of you were idiots.
You can harass me, but did you bring me some casserole?
But they'd always get so mad as
feel
though
like
like the police were the ones like looking for stuff. And it's like,
Maybe
you
we
called
call
them. You could have just fought.
Maybe we start that program though. Send a casserole with the cops to come out. People are going to be way more open to the police.
Is this
And
like a shop with
Casserole
the
and
cop
community
type
service?
situation?
Kinda,
Like
we
casserole with a cop?
he's like, man, I'm really sorry about this car accident and everything, but casserole? And
I
then you're
would
just like,
love a casserole from a cop. Well,
gonna say,
any from
Hot
anyone.
dish from a hot cop.
ooh, there we
yeah.
go. Yeah. And then they put out a calendar and it's all the hot cops, each different month holding a different hot dish.
Yeah.
Can it have the recipes?
Yes. Oh, we're going to make you guys some
my
money.
God.
So
Ryan, did
reach
you
out
see
to
the
us at
October tuna
wickerbiscuit@gmail.com, cops. We'll help you out.
You need a fundraising opportunity? Just contact us. We
We'll
have an
make the
abundance of
casseroles for you.
ideas.
Yeah. We'll do a whole pod. We'll be there. All right.
Jesus.
All right. We'll
Speaking of
move on now.
class.
We'll move on.
He was the classier one.
Yes, I know.
I don't know what that says about the rest of us.
Hands off, everyone. I got my sled waiting for him.
Okay. Let me bring you another one. All right. So we got burglary. A 38-year-old Cole Avenue man reported that his home was invaded on September 9th. The man said that he was sitting home alone, masturbating and watching a pornographic movie when a man came down into the basement holding a gun and started to videotape him. The man said that before he left, the intruder fed his dog some mushrooms and the dog died.
Oh no!
What?
This is a horrible one.
I'm just assuming that man himself was on mushrooms
Oh,
and none of
yeah.
this happened. But
The dog never even existed. I
They're
feel
like,
better about it
We
then.
didn't find a dish or anything. We're so confused.
But holy shit, right? I mean, oh man.
Maybe that's what happened to the casserole.
But what do you guys think? You guys think some of this is real or you think the dude was just on drugs?
I think he might have been on drugs.
Yeah.
And that porn was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Or really bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, all in all, I think a recipe for disaster.
I'm going to pretend that there was no dog.
Yeah.
That's going to help
It
me
makes
sleep
me feel
tonight.
better. Yeah.
Right. Or his dog, even if he has a dog, the dog is just alive
Fine.
and upstairs and happy.
And the dog's like, what?
Yeah. All right.
It's a lot going on.
It's
Maybe
a
it was one of
lot
those
going
things,
on
you know,
in
like
that
when you brush your dog and there's so much hair left over, like there's that picture where they like formed it
Oh,
in
yeah.
the shape of the dog. Maybe he saw that and was like, my dog ate the shrooms and died. But really the dog just went in the other room.
Yeah, let's pretend.
I mean, did he
Ooh.
stop masturbating?
Do you I believe this is one that you did, Courtney. So
Yes.
do you want to read this one?
Sure.
Okay, so next up, we're going to skip, and this is one from Courtney.
Yeah. So to be honest, this is one that I remember hearing, but I could not find it again. So I'm just going to paraphrase what it was. Okay, so for Chautauqua, Wisconsin again. Officer reported to a boat landing for a vehicle with suspicious activity. Driver of vehicle tells officer that he was reciting poetry to his girlfriend, aka passenger of the vehicle. Officer advises driver to put his pants back on and to find a different location to enjoy poetry. And that was actually read, I believe, on like Leno or one of those.
Oh,
you know.
wow. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, first of all, suspicious activity, Canadians.
Definitely.
Canadians.
It was probably the squirrels that reported them.
Yeah.
So you're just standing in a boat, pants down.
Legs open.
Well, he's at the boat landing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
boat landing.
I believe he was in a vehicle.
That's-
That's what my memory.
I would think that would make sense.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Just put your pants back on. and
Reset.
find
Obviously,
the
they've
location.
never read poetry the right way.
Right? If you really want to get into it, you definitely got to take your pants off.
Obviously. Lamos.
So this last one,
Okay, so to
Oh,
be
go ahead.
honest,
this isn't this is like a news
isn't-
article.
This is actually, remember I told you that I was just going to throw it in. If you wanted to use it, you could. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Let's-
It's the
We've got it video.
It's the one of
video.
the saying that when you've got ice shacks, you've got.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't watch the video. I
Yeah,
just
It is good.
It is hilarious.
well, I don't have it set up right now for the audio to come in,
Okay.
but let's watch it and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But not technically a police blotter. It's just
No.
this is like a legit news article. But let's review this.
Please, blotter.
Oh.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of
Watch your
time?
guy's face.
And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution.
I just love that he looks at him like it's like if you're with your friend and they say something stupid, and you're like, buddy,
What?
what? No.
What
But
was the
ironically-
proposal?
I do remember. So this was maybe a couple of years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But there was a fishing competition, I believe in Hayward, and they had to have like DNR like scout the joint because they were worried that it would spark prostitution.
Do
I know,
do you know how
ridiculous.
cold it is ice fishing?
Yeah,
Like,
That's why you get the prostitutes.
Yeah, no kidding.
but I guess it actually is a thing. Like it happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's prostitution
from
like
Canadians?
at truck stops. It's not.
yeah.
I know, but there's
mean-
like some code, like some light or something that you put on your ice fishing shack to reel in the.
Hey,
You
Who
turn
are
on the
these,
red
make
light.
make that coin, girls.
Who are these
You-
like
you do
traveling prostitutes?
Well, and
It's Roxanne. You
guys
turn on the
and
red light. She
non-binary,
comes.
whoever's out there, you know.
I know, but like,
Like-
Or is
who-
it? Wait, no, it was Roxanne that turned on the red
Yeah.
light. Damn.
I just think a lot of bush latte and
Yeah,
like snowsuits and boots and I don't know.
With-
yeah,
the
but like
fur?
With
some
the
of
fur.
the shanties are really pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole club was looking at her.
And then Shorty got.
Do you know how long that song was out before I found out it was Shorty and not Shirley? I liked it better
She
when it was
sees it
about
for-
a girl named Shirley. Oh, it's in my
Okay,
it's in
good.
there. Don't
We'll
worry.
still reference it.
I
then.
like it. Shirley seems she would be on the ice getting it.
I want to pretend that's not a girl. It's Shirley. They're just saying like Shirley. The club was looking at her.
Surely they were.
Don't call me Shirley. All right, we will take a quick break here, and we will be right back. And we're back. All right. So next up, we're going to go through some personal stories of just innocent run-ins that the Wicker Biscuit families had with Johnny Law.
The law.
The law.
The law. We love Pee Wee's Big Adventure at this podcast.
We
and
do.
I think Courtney's about to die.
It's more for fun, Courtney.
I choose to do this.
on a tooth, Courtney.
And now Ruggles still slapping my legs.
Ruggles thinks there's something wrong and she's trying to help Court.
She's okay, baby. She's okay.
See, now, and this is like if you were over Zoom, we'd think you're dying. And
She's still breathing.
I'm going to do a whole nother bring us in, by the way. Well, we already did the bring us in, actually. We'll just
Bring us
cut.
in is fine.
We'll just cut. All right. All right. Now that Courtney's like
Collected herself.
now that Courtney's somewhat collectors. We're gonna have a little giggling in the background, but that's okay. Ryan, do you want to kick us off with your first story?
Sure. So this happened in college. I was driving Carl's car, and I was driving on campus to get to a meeting, and I was at the stoplight, and my driver's ed teacher told us when you're waiting like to turn against a light, when it turns yellow and the other cars are slowing down, that's when you can go because they're stopping.
Yeah.
You
When
just
else
go.
are you gonna go?
Right. Because it wasn't like a blinky arrow kind of light.
Right.
It was just, so I do this and almost immediately these lights come on and I'm like, oh, God. So I get pulled over and I'm thinking, I don't know what he pulled me over for. And he's like, do you know what you did wrong? I'm like, and he's like, well, you turned on that yellow light and whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, and I told him, well, license registration. I give him the thing. I'm like, well, it's my boyfriend's car. It's not my car. And he looks at my license. He looks at whatever. And he goes, well, let me see that pipe that's in your pocket. And I'm like, pipe? So I hand him my keychain because that's what's in my pocket, my keys. I have a Nickelodeon keychain. It's like this. What would you say? It's like a tube, like about like as thick as a boba tea straw, and it's full of green slime and like little pieces of plastic that are like logos, like the of Snick. So like the Snick logo, a Nickelodeon logo, a picture of Clarissa, Ren and Stimpy are floating around in there. The Roundhouse logo and the campfire from Are You Afraid of the Dark and the orange couch. So all these things are just floating in this little keychain. I hand it to him and he's like looking at it and he's like shining his light on it. Like, is there a way this could be used as a pipe? And he hands it back to me and he's like, well, I'm gonna let you off with a warning, but you need to be more responsible. And it was just so like, oh, sorry, Dad. But that's what my driver's ed teacher taught me to do, and he pulled me over for doing it. And I was
Right,
like,
right.
The light wasn't red when I went; it was yellow.
Right. So if you're turning left, right?
Mhm.
So you pulled out because there was a yellow, and you're waiting to go, or you pulled out when it was green still, right?
Well, yeah, I was right.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You wait until it's yellow, and then when they're slowing down, you go. Otherwise, it's going to turn
Otherwise, you're
red, and
just
you're in the middle of the
hanging out there.
intersection.
Exactly.
You have to go. No, you were totally in the right. But I did notice he pulled out his flashlight to check it out. He must have been Canadian.
Oh, that's
That cop was
true.
suspicious. It's funny because back then that was my Sears days.
Yeah.
And one of the girls at work, she comes up to me and she goes, hey, Carl, I saw you got pulled over the other day. And I'm like, I did not get pulled over. It was Ryan. And then I had explained the whole story and she's like, Ryan doesn't do drunk, like he doesn't drink or like anything. And I'm like, no, it was a Nickelodeon keychain.
Well, and it just happened to be kind of sticking out of my pocket too. Like, don't you think if I had drugs and a cop pulled me over, I would like hide it?
Yeah.
Not just let it hang out of my coat pocket?
Well,
Not if you were high.
All right. Next up, I believe Carl's got a story for us.
I know the exact date.
Ooh.
So it was February 19th.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh.
2000. So this was my mom and stepdad had started going down for the Daytona race every year. And so they'd be gone for 2 weeks. And it was right over my birthday. And it was one of those like perfectly aligned when my birthday was kind of thing. And so I was totally going to have a party at the house that night.
Oh.
And it was just one of those like there's so much going on that day. So I was doing like half day my senior year for school, and then I was working at that Sears in Racine. So before I like get to Sears that day, I usually stop at the Piggly Wiggly and get myself a deli sandwich. And I am walking out to the parking lot and I fall on my keys. So my keys are in my hand. It's my ignition key, so I have to take my ignition key out of my hand. And of course, I'm like, what do I do now? So I had to drive to my cousin's house. This is before cell phones, too. So like I had to call work from there and be like, hey, I just fell on my keys. I don't think I'm going to be in. And so how terrible is this? Of course, my cousin's husband's like, just put a Band-Aid on it. And I'm like, no, the key was through my hand.
Like it came out the other side?
It was, I mean, it wasn't all the way through, but it was like through.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was crazy. And apparently, get to the emergency room, they check everything out and everything. It missed everything.
Okay.
So that was
good.
good. But they said this happens a lot during the winter. And I thought, yikes, like people's groins and stuff.
Ooh.
You know?
Did you say groins?
Groin. Yeah,
Yeah.
your groin. Like, think about if you put your keys in your pocket, you fell on them. Ugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't think about
Stab
that. I
yourself.
don't have that kind of groin.
what kind of groin do you have?
Well, it has less accoutrements.
Okay.
That is not the story I thought Carl
You
was
still have
telling.
thighs. No, this actually goes together with that.
Oh, okay.
It's the same day.
Oh, okay.
Oh gosh.
So then I realized, oh my gosh, I had really bad sinus infections back then. And so I realized I forgot my prescription down at my stepdad's place in Pleasant Prairie. So Racine to Pleasant Prairie is about 35, 40 minutes. Well, I'm like, well, that works out because I wasn't going to work that day. So here I am, like bandaged up, and I'm driving to Kenosha, and I'm just outside of Kenosha. And Kenosha, like Kenosha, Pleasant Prairie. So it goes from like 35 to 45 to 55 within like no time. So I'm almost to Pleasant Prairie, and I get pulled over because I was already going too fast because I was just like, I'm there. Well, here I am in my Letterman's jacket. I've got my hand like bandaged up. I'm speeding in this old ass Chevy. I'm like, I just look rough as it is. And the cop comes up and he's like, do you know I pulled you over? And I'm like, well, I was going fast. I knew I was going, whatever. And he goes, well, I'm going to have to give you a ticket. So he like goes back, comes back, hands me my ID back, and he goes, oh, happy birthday. It was my 18th birthday. It was a rough day.
How did I forget that those were the same story? Because I was like, that's the story I thought you were telling. And then
Yeah, no, it was the same day.
So I'm sorry, did you get a ticket then?
I did get a ticket. I even told him, like, hey, I stabbed myself today. I'm on my way to get a prescription. Maybe that's where I went wrong. He's like, oh, I know what he's up to.
Definitely the meth.
That was before meth. Come on.
I'm sorry I have a sinus infection.
Sorry, it's a sinus infection. Oh, yeah. So it was a pretty wild day.
On your birthday.
I know. But I am pretty sure I partied all weekend.
Well, there you go.
It was pretty crazy.
The meth helped, I'm sure.
I mean, everyone did have sympathy for me. I was walking around like all bandaged up. But the cop saying happy birthday and smiling at me, I'll never, like, that is burned in my mind. Like,
that's sweet.
you really? You jackass.
Oh, I thought it was sweet, but was there a little stank to it? Or
yeah, I was like, I gave you a ticket. Screw you, even if it's your birthday,
Yeah.
you loser.
Birthday stink. Nobody needs that.
no.
All right, Courtney.
Well, I told you already about my 7 violation New Year's, but
Yep.
I do have one other one. I signed myself and my husband up for this parenting class, and I was running late for it. So I left work, and I'm just like driving like a bat out of hell. It's a 55, and just as I'm like going down a hill, I see a police car coming up over the top of, like, coming towards me. I'm like, oh, shit. And, of course, it was a state trooper. They're a little less forgiving. I still love you, though. But pulled me over. I was going, like, 75 and a 55. It wasn't good. I knew I was going to get a ticket. No doubt about it. But he came up to the passenger side as I was pulled over on the side of the road. And he talked with me, but it wasn't until he came back with my license that there was an issue. The issue, apparently, I was a little scared, to tell you the truth, because as he's walking around the car, I'm looking at him, and I see him go for his holster, and I'm like, what is going on? Why is he reaching for his gun? Like, what is going on? I'm like, there's no
no reason for this.
And he's like, ma'am, what's in your back seat? And I'm like, he's like, hands on the wheel. I'm like, I don't know what's in my back seat. I really don't. I'm like, what could there possibly be that I have put in my back seat in my lifetime that would cause for a gun to almost be pulled out on me?
So now you're gripped on the
Yes.
It wasn't a badger, was it?
Yeah. Well, there's multiple uses for, So I'm like, my brain is just, and he's like, ma'am, do you have a rifle in your backseat? I'm like, no. He's like, then what is that? And I'm like, well, you told me I couldn't turn around, so I really have no idea. I'm clueless. Well, it was right after Halloween, and Devin, my son, who was probably about 3 years old at the time, he was a little older. He was 5. He wanted to be one of the characters from Duck Dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And it was like a little rifle, but it had like the orange tip on it. It was held together with masking tape.
You can thank Bob Dole for that
Yeah.
orange tap or
Oh.
thing. And actually, that's why the Nintendo guns became orange
Oh,
after that law got
Oh.
passed.
Interesting.
Bob Dole. I remember
So
him.
I'm like, no, it's my son's toy. He was, Halloween. And he's like, ma'am. He says, you almost had a SWAT team here. I'm like, shut up. And he's like, no, really. He says, unfortunately, nowadays, he says, the toys look like real guns and the real guns are looking like toys. He says, always have something like that in the trunk or whatever. He says, because you honestly can't tell.
Yeah.
And fair enough point to be had. I don't, disrespect that matter, but there was that moment where I was like, what the fuck did I do? And then I was late for my parenting class at the Catholic Church. And I walk in and Lyle's like, where were you? You're late. And I'm just like crying. I'm like, I was pulled over for a gun in my car. And he's like, what? And I'm like, that's what I thought. But, and actually, I do have pictures. I'll have to send it to you, the picture
Yeah.
of
The
the
toy
gun.
gun. Yeah, that's great.
We'll throw some pictures on the social media.
I'm going to
Yeah.
put a picture of Gary on social media.
Ooh.
Oh, please do.
He is just a little bit more than the law will allow.
Mhm.
Ooh. Butts. Well, thank you, Courtney.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. I would like to dazzle you all with a story. Would you guys be okay with that?
Uh-huh.
All right. My story goes all the way back to a young group of biscuit bunchers.
Babies.
Biscuit babies,
Biscuit
yes.
babies.
So it
It's
was
like Muppet Babies, but it's...
Yes.
So, like,
Biscuit
in this story, you're also
babies.
animated.
This is yes, we're animated.
I love
So it was me, Ryan, and a couple other friends of the Biscuits. We were all in a car coming
A
back.
van.
I was going to say,
Yes.
is it the minivan?
We were in the minivan.
Yeah.
Yes, the Putnam minivan.
Yeah.
Coming back from
Night Strike.
Night Strike, which was a kind of a teen dance thing. So picture like
summer.
picture like
It was on Wednesday
a
nights.
club rave thing, but for kids, so there was no alcohol, and it was on Wednesday nights.
Night Strike on Wednesday night. Night Strike on Wednesday night. That was their little
So
promo.
Ryan, I believe, was the only one at that time that had his license.
I wasn't, but I was the only one who could drive with multiple people in the
Oh,
car
yeah, because that was
because
the graduated.
Yes.
I got mine before the laws changed.
Yes, that's what it was.
So I always got stuck driving everyone, which I didn't mind, but it made me nervous. Like, I have to keep all these people safe.
right, and then we had the van that had room for everyone.
Yeah.
So we're driving along, and some of those little biscuit buddies, they decided they were gonna moon someone.
Well,
Oh.
we were driving next to a car full of like what we'll call preppy teenage boys who were making obscene gestures. So these biscuit babies were making obscene gestures back, and it was entertaining
yeah, and
because they said, "What was it? The boys?
the boys were kind of giving them like a.
Do you want to? No, it was doing the.
I thought there
do
was
you want? Do you want to drink some?
Oh
whatever?
yeah. They were saying,
Wanna
"Hey, do you
drink
want to go
some
drink
booze?"
some? Yeah.
And our biscuit friends went, "Want to go suck some dick?"
As you do.
Anyway, somebody eventually mooned one of them. I'm pretty sure. Right.
Both our friend girls mooned those boys.
Yes. Shortly after, lights go on.
Yeah, like it was at a stoplight that they mooned, and then we went forward.
We're driving forward. Cop lights.
And we're like, shit, we're getting in trouble for the mooning.
So we pull over and we're going through the whole thing. And the officer was just pulling us over to let us know that one of our taillights was out.
So that was my first warning, which was funny because it wasn't my vehicle, so it really
Right?
wasn't my warning.
Yep.
But get it fixed in 10 days or whatever. But while we were waiting,
We were being goofy. We were very relieved that we weren't like in serious trouble. But just randomly, I'm like, wouldn't it be hilarious if I jump out of the car and ran up the hill and be like, never gonna catch me, copper? Which I did not do.
And no one should do.
But to this day, like in our group, we say that to each other.
Come and catch me.
Never gonna get me, copper.
Exactly.
I love that you are my son's godfather, and my son's godmother did something similar.
Oh, yeah?
I was pulled over, ironically, the same officer that had me for a weapon in my vehicle. I never put that together, but it's true. It's all true.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, why not? But
Yeah.
he was on a motorcycle, and it threw me for a loop. I forgot that, yeah, they also ride motorcycles. But
Have you
pulled me
never seen
over.
Chips?
Well, it's
I
Wisconsin.
mean, true.
It's windy. I don't know. It's cold.
They got
There's
Harleys.
deer. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I get pulled over by him, and he's going up to the passenger side of my vehicle. My aunt and I used to carpool together. My aunt is in the passenger side as I'm driving. She refuses to roll down her fucking window. She's like, Courtney, what will you give me to roll down my window? And I'm like, you roll that fucker down now. This man already thinks I've had a weapon in my vehicle. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, oh my God, just roll down. I am like shitting bricks. Finally, she rolls down the window and he's like, can I see your license and registration? I took out 70 registrations, but not one was current. And then he's like, can I see your proof of insurance? Same thing. I had like a deck of fucking cards, but not one of them. And who's my aunt? I'm sorry. She probably wouldn't care. She doesn't have her reading glasses on, so she's got like this stack of cards, and she's like, I don't know, she's holding them out like a deck of cards, and she hands it to him. He's like, well, any of these two? And I'm like, oh my God. So she leaves, he leaves, and I'm like, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a ticket. And she's like, yeah, probably. I'm like, well, how does he even print it out? Like, does that little moped have a printer? I'm looking at my rearview mirror, and out like extends this giant like inkjet printer. She's like, well, there's your answer.
It's like the Jetsons.
And she has her window rolled up again. I'm like, roll it down. But oh, it was rough.
Were you speeding again?
Wow.
Yeah. In a construction zone. He was hiding behind the barrels.
Oh, although I now want a show about the Wisconsin Highway Patrol called Whips.
Whips?
Whips.
Whips.
Out came an inkjet printer. I kid you not. I don't know if it came out of the seat.
You're
Like,
like,
was he riding it the whole time?
I'll gladly take this ticket. Wherever you brought that out from, worth it.
It extended out on like this big swinging arm.
Do you know what's weird about the show Chips? I couldn't tell you anything about it, like plot wise. Like I know what the show is about, but like individual plots. But I must have watched it a lot when I was a kid because anytime someone has a motorcycle with like the little side pouchy things, like and they open it.
The saddlebags, or
Yes,
Yeah.
but not like the bag, like the hard compartment with the lid.
Oh yeah.
When they open it or anything, that sound is like such a core memory for me. It's like I feel like I know what it's like to be on a motorcycle like that because of the show Chips, because they would always, get off their bike and like open the thing, and it's like it's such a weird part of my brain that when I hear that on something else, I'm like, Chips. I watch Chips all the time. I must have.
Yeah.
We have such a good relationship with like the Eau Claire Police Department, and I'm in love with K9 Murphy.
He's so
I
cute.
can't I don't know. I'm just in love. And he's like
that's legit.
He's our
right?
like support officer.
Yep.
And I just love all the pictures of him.
I had to go to the Altoona Police Department 2 times to get fingerprinted for getting my Minnesota license for counseling in Minnesota, and you have to have fingerprints. And I went in and I forgot one form, so I had to go in and get it done all over again, and they were very nice. But that is the only frickin' dog I've ever met that did not like me.
Oh, no.
Really?
It was like a doodle puppy, and it was like,
Oh yeah, what's his name?
I don't know, but I was not impressed.
Oh, that's not the same one Carl's
No.
referring to?
No, it was
Okay,
an
good.
Altoona.
They've got a support one too.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
well, he wasn't
Did
real
not
supportive.
support Amanda.
No.
It's
Well,
very weird.
she didn't have her forms right.
The second time I
I'm
did,
kidding.
And I was like, I want to pet you, but you're not comforting.
And there was a memory from a few years back, recently, my socials, and it was the first all-female patrol day.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Isn't
Eau
there?
Claire?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't
Just so
there?
you know, my cousin is on the police force for the city of
That's
Eau Claire.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Not Gary.
No, not
Shout
me.
out to Renee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Renee's okay with that.
I mean, I don't think it's secret. I mean,
Fair enough.
She's
Well,
not. She's not undercover.
It's a good shout out too.
right.
Yeah.
So, but wasn't there an event coming up for Murphy?
Oh,
Or-
yeah. They're doing, I think with the regular patrol dogs, too,
Yeah.
they're selling little plush
Aww.
for raising funds for...
Well,
So adorable.
anyone in the area, if
That's
you get
a better
chance,
fundraiser
support
than
that.
cops
Yeah.
with casseroles.
I mean, the hot cops with the hot dish. That
I mean, if they're going to
let's,
show
let's
up
put it
with
together. Let's have
hot dish, hot cops,
Hot
and
dogs.
You're going to bring... Yeah.
hot dish, hot cops, hot dog.
exactly.
And just bring me a little plushy Murphy. That'd be great.
Yeah, I like it. I love it.
Hello, everyone. We here at Wicker Biscuit have another first that we honestly didn't consider and didn't think would happen so early on in our Pet of the Week segment.
This week's pet of the week is Pearl, and unfortunately, we learned from Miss Pearl's mom that Pearl crossed the Rainbow Bridge before we were able to air this episode.
We still want to honor Pearl and encourage you to learn more about her on our Pet of the Week post. We here at Wicker Biscuit love our pets just like they're our family, and our hearts go out to Pearl's family.
We want to remind everyone to please check out our social media. You'll see the pet of the week coming out this next week, so you'll get to see Pretty Pearl. And then also, if you could, subscribe, like, or follow our pages, so that way you can stay up to date on all of our stuff. What we're looking for is listener-submitted topics, listener-submitted poppin' cherries ideas, and listener-submitted biscuits. So as always, just keep in touch because we love to hear from you guys.
We sure do.
All right, so are we ready to give our biscuit basket?
The oven is on.
Ooh,
Yes.
got that oven heated up. So I am going to have our biscuits. Amanda, would you care to kick off the biscuit basket?
I have a buttered biscuit.
Ooh, let's hear it.
So, Gary had a birthday this week, and I was able to have a pretty epic birthday party for him.
It was
Truth.
pretty epic.
Amazing.
And my biggest biscuit with this is now the sweet spot of the year where Gary is like a year older than me.
Amanda,
And
that's
I'm the
funny.
only one in this room in my 30s.
I said to Ryan one time, Amanda, that this is the furthest in age. for
No,
my
it was the
birthday.
opposite.
Oh, was that?
When it's my birthday, you go, this is the closest we'll ever be in age.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to remind you, you may be the youngest in the room, but you had the oldest placenta.
That's true.
Indeed.
That's true.
We still love you.
Thanks.
It was an amazing birthday party.
It was.
Yes.
It was. It was.
Bravo.
It was really quite the way to welcome me into my 40s.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a burned biscuit.
No.
Is it burned or burnt? Either way.
Either.
It's whoever's handing out the biscuit gets to decide.
I had a pretty good day at work today, and everything was going wonderfully. And I swung by Burger King to have a little late lunch, and I'm getting out of my car in my driveway, and I dropped my phone in my driveway, screen down, and cracked the son of a bitch.
Oh.
So now I have to get a new phone, which the phone still functions, so I'm not like without a phone, which sucks when that happens, but it's still like there's cracks all over, and I'm afraid I'm going to cut my finger.
The best things in life have
Oh,
cracks.
you know what? I could help you out though. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take until you get your phone, but I have one of those like cheap plastic screen protectors that you can put on over it. So that way,
yeah.
at least the little
Yeah,
shards
yeah,
won't
yeah.
cut you.
Otherwise, 2 business days.
Okay.
New one's on its way.
They're actually pronounced business days.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness.
Because we watched Dallas, and Jock Ewing would say business.
They're not
pretty fast
business
last time.
days.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
You're wonderful. That makes it a slightly buttered burnt biscuit.
Aw,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, just throw some
We
butter
scraped
on
off some of the
Yeah.
burnt.
it. You saved it, Mom. I've got a couple. I think like a
Ooh.
set of just good biscuits. What a good birthday week.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I get to share it with you, Gary, every year. It's
Thank
pretty
you.
amazing.
I feel the same way.
I had a great weekend in Milwaukee last weekend.
Yeah.
Got to eat dinner at the stadium. I'd never done that before. like as far as like
What's it like?
off season. You know, I was expecting a little more.
Oh, okay.
It's the Leinenkugel barrel yard.
Mm-hmm.
Very like Wisconsin dells, like cartoon fishy, like on the art on the wall, and just kind of like silly family fun. But it was good. I mean, like upscale bar food.
Oh,
Like
okay.
everything's fried.
Sure. Yeah.
But good craft beers. But I'd rather go out to, during the season on the first baseline, they have the Wisconsin craft beers. That's worth it. That's amazing. But that was still fun. Like off season, the dome was open. It was cold on the concourse. It was just cool to kind of feel like what it was like, when nothing's going on yet. We saw a cool play in Milwaukee, put on by a troupe called Theatrical Tendencies. They do LGBTQ plus themed stories. And so this one had to deal with class, homophobia, and race.
Ooh.
So it was pretty intense.
Yeah, those aren't light topics.
No. But that was a lot of fun. Made a new friend. We've got to see our old friends. It was a good weekend. And then obviously we got to come home to Gary's wonderful birthday party hosted by Amanda.
Wow.
And this coming weekend in Eau Claire is UW Eau Claire's Fireball. So it's the big drag show that raises money for all the wonderful programming at Eau Claire for, educational experiences and safe spaces and everything that we worked hard on when we were younger.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So it's a pretty cool event. So looking forward to that. Got a lot of friends coming. So
Awesome.
it's nice.
Oh. Well, I don't have a buttered or a burnt biscuit.
But let me tell you something. I do have a buttered biscuit, and it comes back to the marvelous party that we recently had. The great surprise that Amanda had for me. But there was something from my childhood that I forgot how glorious it was. And that was just school cafeteria styled mashed potatoes with nothing on them but just a ladle of melted butter. Oh my fucking God. That was so goddamn good. I forgot. I remember it in my head, but I forgot just how good it was. Oh, it was good.
I think for a long
That
time.
was like the big selling point of the party was,
Yeah.
here's some hot lunch food for you kids.
Yeah, that was the
Remember
theme of
how
it.
cute we are as children.
We had rectangle pizza.
Yep.
We had corn. We had mashed potatoes.
Cafeteria trays.
Cafeteria trays.
Sporks.
Sporks. There was Capri Sun because I don't like the milk cartons. Sunny Delight. There was
Fruit by the foot.
Fruit by the Foot and Dunkaroos for those
Sun
that brought
chips.
cold lunch.
Yeah.
Sun chips for the cold lunch bunch.
Sun
Yeah.
chips.
And it was just awesome. But goddamn, those mashed potatoes
Yeah.
just brought me back.
They were the highlight.
And the pizza is the highlight, but to me, it's all of it.
It
It's just
is,
all
yeah.
of it.
I used to say, like, if someone asked me what my favorite food was, I used to say mashed potatoes. But as I got older, I was like, that seems really silly. Like,
Well, I don't think so.
but they were so good.
They are.
I think
Yeah.
we need to have another school lunch and have turkey and gravy.
Well, I still have a shit ton of pizza.
There was 24 pounds of it.
You know it's
96
good
pizzas.
when we buy
But-
it in the pound.
But thank you for Courtney for helping out with that, and thank you for everyone for what they pitched in.
It was an amazing time.
But
what did I get you, Gary?
are we talking gift or?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got the world's greatest mug ever. I got a mug that said best editor ever. Right?
Because Gary works really hard on this podcast, and we
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And you all appreciate it, even if you don't know that you appreciate it.
And
you do.
and I gotta say though, I'm really lucky to finally have an assistant editor too. 'Cause I've been doing it
Oh my
alone.
God.
I've been doing it alone.
She's
for
been scaring
the
you all
whole
night.
year.
Let me tell you, for those that have not seen this bullshit, Gary has this woman trained to hold this notebook up in the air to
Trained.
remind him to move the mouse.
No. So you've heard her name in the closing credits, but it's Lisa. She helps me out where she's like kind of the director while I'm recording because I've got so many things going on here.
It's
that
almost sick to watch this control that he has over this
Here's the
poor
thing.
woman.
Here's the thing. Courtney isn't always in the room with us. She's often at her home studio, like zooming in, and so her being here is the first time she's seen Lisa do this
She
stuff.
literally holds this notebook up 3 feet
are-
from his
Courtney, I think
got
you're
this
reversing
backwards.
it because Lisa has all the
She
power over
controls
him.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She's got
She
Gary
keeps
trained.
me under control.
Yeah,
My unofficial title is Gary Tamer.
Yes.
yeah. So we
Which
gotta
you said in
flip it.
such a sexy voice
Courtney.
just then.
Those
Gary
times you have to,
Tabor.
those times you have to zoom in. Do you want me to hold the notebook up to you?
Could you? I mean, we're in an area that's like, what, 8 by 12? Here she is holding this. My God.
It's more than just that. So if I forget something, she's like,
She puts her little 3 fingers in the air and does a countdown for him. Like, Gary, you've got 10 fingers. But you have to use her 3? Sickening.
You make
promise-
it sound like Lisa only has 3 fingers.
promise you, this relationship we have is
It's sick.
is full of consent.
I love that this turned into like some magician, like we're telling you how the trick like works.
I
All
love
the
is
magic
that
is given up now.
They are so serious about doing this. It just looks so ridiculous, but I love it.
But it is serious.
The comedy is incredibly serious. That's what makes it funny.
Oh my gosh.
She really helps. Sometimes when we're like just telling too much of a story, sometimes you just look at
She can do a
Yeah,
cute
so
little
it's
like wrap it up
Yeah.
kind of thing, and it's like
Trust me, we've gotten so much better at recording since she's been
And I
here.
walked in and I'm like, so do we allow her to talk? Like, what's the rule?
she does have a
Or
microphone.
does she allow you to talk?
That's true.
She's in control.
yeah,
She's
you better watch that backside of that notebook.
I just don't want to see you getting taken advantage of, Lisa, because you're a stand-up person.
The minute they stop giving me Diet Coke, I'm gone.
oh boy.
Glad to see he's paying you something.
That's right, everyone. Send us Diet Coke casseroles.
and hot cops. We know where Courtney and my brains are at.
Oh,
The cops that like their like pecs are so big that their uniform just kind of like looks like it's gonna rip open.
Yes.
Blanche.
That kind.
Jesus.
Ooh.
All I can think of is my cousin, and I'm grossed out.
All I can think of is Officer from Washburn County. What?
Okay. Any more, guys, or should we close this bitch out?
We should close this bitch out and call her sexy.
All right. On that note, we're going to close out. Can I have everybody say goodnight to everyone?
Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
right.
John boy.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Wicker Biscuit, a Podcast Ahoy production. The producers of Wicker Biscuit are Courtney Holub, Ryan LeMay, and Gary Putnam. Assistant producers are Amanda Putnam and Lisa Rudd. Recording and editing is done by Gary Putnam, with Lisa Rudd as the assistant editor. Executive producer of Wicker Biscuit is Gary Putnam. Check out our social media for updates on upcoming pods and for clips and other media referenced in this episode. Links and information can be found in the episode notes. Thanks again from everyone at the Wicker Biscuit family.